I call this meeting to order. The Monday, May 20th, Human Resources Administration and Appointments Committee for the City of Chester. We have all three committee members here, myself, Councilman Davis, Council Lady Gibson. And today, we have present the HR department. Hi, everyone. Good to see you guys. There are several openings, and we've received several applications for various boards on authorities throughout the city. And today we're going to discuss them and determine whether or not we're going to move them forward to council for a vote. Today is not the time that we vote on any of them. It's just the process to move them to council for a vote amongst mayor and council. And if we do move them forward, it won't be for Wednesday's meeting. It would be for the following council meeting. HR is present. Does HR have anything to present here at the meeting, or you're just here to give us support?
Well, this is our first one. We didn't know what we were supposed to bring, so that's why we're here to fill out
Okay.
how these go.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, I do have some questions for the Human Resources Department. Is that all right?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me make a comment first.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So you saw us scrambling up here. So this is all new to all of us, and we're going through the learning curve. So one of the things we discussed with our clerk as we were preparing for this is that the information that we just received from Justin, who went and gathered it for us, is the type of stuff that we're going to need in our agenda packet, Madam Clerk. So I think that's all understood as well. In some cases, well, that's what we need. So now I think we have everything to move forward with with at least this meeting. Also, at the same time, as we receive these applications as they come in, we're distributing them, to all the council members so they can, see them and review them. But for this meeting, we need to have what's current and what's in front of us. So I just wanted to say this, and I think I have it right. There are 4 boards, or ABCs, agencies, board, commissions, that we have applications for, I'm sorry. One person applied to CETA where there are no openings. We have 3 persons that are interested in the parking authority. 1 person applied for the Chester Housing Authority, and 2 for the zoning hearing board. All 3 of those do have openings. I want to remind council that all these boards have 5 members. And if there are vacancies, the most important thing to consider is that with 3 members, they have a quorum, they can get their business done. So it is not required, if there are under the quorum, that it has to be filled today. But of course, the objective is to fill all the boards and all the vacancies on the boards. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So,
Oh, okay. So my question is, and it's more so for our constituents because they don't know the process, and neither do I. And so I wanted to know, what is the process of the applications? How would an applicant know that their application was received? Will there be a letter of response to allow them to know that, hey, your application was received, and should you qualify, you'll be contacted? Or would there simply just be no response? Because I don't think no response doesn't give the applicant any information as to if they were received. Any correspondence would be great, opposed to not having any. You got to come
Ms.
to the mic.
Janelle? Yeah, you have to come up to the mic.
I'm Janelle Johnson, currently acting talent acquisition.
Ms. Janelle, put it
Sorry,
down
I'm
to
short.
you. Yeah, talk right into it.
I'm Janelle Johnson, currently acting talent acquisition until we fill the role. We've added additional job boards. So people that email me directly, once I receive their application, I do respond to them directly through email. I do get them directly to my email and through our careers link from the website. Those I am capable of responding to. The amount of applications we receive is a full-time job to respond to, because now we are on Indeed. We get in-person applicants downstairs. We get through the job board on our website, and then we get people that throw applications on my desk. So I respond to them as best I can manage. Rejections, like Indeed, they have an automatic kind of rejection thing if we decide they're absolutely not qualified for the role. What I do with the ones that I get personally, I do forward the applications over to the directors of that department. Should they choose to want to interview this person, I will set up a time and date, coordinate that whole application process. I don't get to everybody, but for the most part, I try to say, we've chosen to go with another candidate if it's someone that sends to me directly. Again, like I said, Indeed has an automatic process for that.
So how would they know that, though? Like, we're the city of Chester, and Indeed is Indeed, right?
No, but it's our company's Indeed profile.
Okay,
So everything there is just all our company information, all our jobs information, and it'll reject and say, we've decided to go to another candidate or something.
So
First,
they-
it filters out the people that just automatically
don't
have
qualify.
none. Right, Indeed. The people that might have some qualifications, we actually go through. We have to sort through every single applicant, and you can choose to reject, and it'll send them the same notification. The ones that we keep, we download the resumes, we send to the directors. If they want to interview them, then they'll hear from me directly. But again, I might post a job and we'll get like 70, 80, 90 applicants on one human being. So responding to every single application is just not possible.
So is there a system that can be in place or something that can be implemented, even though you're saying that Indeed says, hey, you don't qualify? So when they come in, is there a database or is it something that can be scanned in? I'm just trying to see what's going to better fit our constituents, because the complaint is no one responds to me. So how do I even know that my application was looked at, And is this a new process?
Mr. Mack is in the process of creating a applicant list, interview list, and all of that to keep track of that. Like I said, we're hiring for a new talent acquisition because I also have to do benefits. So,
So can Mr. Mack speak to these issues, these concerns? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Gerald Mack. To touch on Indeed, Indeed is a platform we use as another means to gather candidates. So the process now is that someone can email their application to a mailbox. I'm still trying to get access to the mailbox to be able to respond to some. That's a tech issue that's still being worked with. Because what I do want to do is get away from Nell responding directly from her email and have a basic email box that responds to everyone, that we had to set up a little manually with templates. So that's the process of
The-
trying to respond to candidates. The other way is someone can walk in here, complete an application, leave it at the desk, and then they bring it down to us. So the way that Janelle does, she responds with a call to the candidate on how we move forward.
only the candidate that's gonna be accepted, not,
And you can tell me if I'm speaking out of turn, the candidate that we're gonna bring in.
Okay.
We acknowledging that we did receive it.
okay.
And how we move forward
Oh.
with that job. Now, I get what you're saying. If we had a database where someone can just apply online and it was easier to view as Indeed, that would be great. We just don't have that capability. So where I can just go look at the database, it's a little too manual, which is where we're trying to enhance the process and have a little bit more flow to where we can respond. Yes, I'm not gonna make excuses, we're a little understaffed. Once we hire a talent acquisition individual, that will be their job solely, and to implement that. But we're just at a point where we're just trying to go by job priority and answer.
So
what we
how,
have.
so how far back are you guys as it relates to the positions that are available? Because some people are saying, I put in the application last year and I haven't heard anything, and I still see the same job, coming up on the site. So like, are their applications gonna be looked at, or do they have to come and fill out a new application?
No, the application that we have to go through. To give you an example, 70-plus people applied for the talent acquisition position, just on Indeed. That's not even including who sent the email or who came in. And then there's 6 jobs, 5 or 6 jobs on the board with about a little bit of the same traction. Like Janelle said this before, it's someone else's job to do, to be able to source that, already set up interviews, et cetera. It's just trying to work through that, and I'm still trying to assist her, because now what we're implementing is a process of pre-screening to try to filter out individuals that just apply. A truck driver applying for one of these jobs, they don't qualify. That's a constant clog up of the system, non-qualified individuals. And you have that when Indeed. You just can't get past that, because the way individuals apply, when they apply online, they apply to 10 jobs at a minimum, and they have something set up, job comes up, they just apply, which is clogging up the system and a waste of time for us. But we're just in the process of still trying to get through that.
Okay. Well, thank you for
So I
answering
know
my
I'm not,
questions.
I would hope that answers your question, but we are responding, and again, I hear it all the time. Someone calls and they call into our department saying, I applied for a job, what's the status? That's standard. And some candidates just do it, just to do it. And then like we had a conversation, we had one candidate apply to all 6 jobs. Just, they qualified, but no. And that the manpower of that, and then times that by however many people are applying. So we're in the process of that. Hopefully, once we get a talent acquisition, it takes the meat of that off of Janelle. That's their scope.
I think, going back some time, and maybe some years ago, but when you apply for a job, the thing was, well, they at least taught you in high school. Now, you go back and you follow up
Yes.
next
Nothing wrong with
week,
that. Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you.
And you mentioned the applicants from far back for jobs, like animal control, that's been there
Yes.
for a long time. That's a very specific job. The applicants we're getting, they need to know what we need, because we don't have it. So they need to come with the knowledge of what we need to even be able to conduct that kind of business. We're not getting applicants with that. But what I do still keep the applications. I have them filed by department in my desk, all past applicants from when I got in the seat down there. And if something comes up that matches any of their qualifications, if I recall, I'll go through and I'll say, oh, we're looking for somebody in this field. And I'll remember, let me go look in here, or we're looking for somebody in L&I. I'll go through all my old L&I applications. I pull up and look at their qualifications. I do keep them on file.
So are you saying the person that's coming for the job, correct me if I'm wrong, they have to already come with the knowledge of what they...
For I'm using animal control specifically, because like I said, we don't have that here. We don't have the supplies, we don't have the truck. we need somebody to tell us what we need. That was what we went through with trying to hire somebody for that position.
I have a question.
We didn't have. We did once, and yes, it gets reposted. So we reposted the position because the person was not able
If
to.
we
do
don't
the job.
have it, why is it still being posted then?
Because we need it here. We get the complaints through L&I all day about the animal control problems.
So, Mr. Mayor,
We literally had
How do
somebody
we-
from Philadelphia interview, and he was amazing, but he needs two people to perform the job. You need somebody to hold the dog and somebody to get, everything together. It was a one-person, part-time position. It didn't make sense, and he had to tell us that.
how do we fix that issue?
We're not going to fix it here. I mean, we're here to talk about board appointments, but I understand you wanted to get some
Yeah,
information on
so
job
what
applicants,
I was saying with
period.
that
But-
was, we do hold, like, that gentleman that gave us that information, I still have his information down there. Should he call us back and say, still want to come, I still got his information. So I do retain applications. I put them in their perspective, field of interests. And if something posts, I do go back and review and see if, anyone stands out. But like Mr. Mack said, now that we have Indeed, which we weren't using at first when I first got down there, we get so many applicants and, really qualified and, it's just a easier process for us to shortlist them. I want to call this person, I want to pre-screen this person, reject. It's easier for us to manage when we have that type of database versus the paper.
I understand that, and you said we're just here to talk about the board appointments, but on here it says Human Resources Administration and appointments.
That's our
So
committee,
that's-
yeah.
But
I know.
that's one of the oldest job positions still posted that's been up for a while, so that's why I referred to that one, and that's why we have that situation with that, because it's very niche, it's very specific, and it needs a certain skill set that we're just not seeing applicants for.
Thank you
No problem.
very much, all of you.
All right, thanks. And to that end, is there you guys have any, does HR have any involvement with board appointments? No. What's the yes part? No. Right. Okay, good enough. So let's get into what we're here to do. And we have, as far as persons, 1, 2, 3, 4 persons, is that correct? That
Yes,
we have in front of us?
yes. We have a Mr. Williams, we have a Miss Adelaide Evans, we have a Miss Williams, and then we also have a Miss Golson.
Excellent. I'm going to make a motion that we put the Mr. Williams, Dakeem Williams, on hold because he's put in applications, but we haven't received his resume or bio, which is required for us to make an evaluation on him. Can I get a second?
A second.
All right.
He's the only applicant that did not submit a resume or bio, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's part of-
probably forthcoming,
Yeah,
but
if
we
that's
just.
part of the
I think it
process.
just came in today? Right, so we'll get to him and tell him that we need that in order to make a decision on him. So, all those in favor of,
Tabling Mr. Williams.
yeah, there you go, that's the word I'm looking for. What I was gonna say was pretty derogatory. Tabling the Dakeem Williams for discussion today.
I second.
Aye. You second it. Aye. All those in favor?
Move
All
it.
those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any questions? Any opposed? All right, we're going to table Dakeem Williams until we get his resume or bio. The reason we ask for bio is because depending on the age of some of the people that applies, resumes may not contain the information that a bio could. So a bio could, indicate some experience that you wouldn't see in a standard resume. Let's go to Chester Housing Authority. We have one opening, one vacancy on the Chester Housing Authority Board due to the resignation of a board member. We have one applicant.
No, that was Dakeem's.
That was Dakeem?
Yes.
Yes. He was the only applicant for the.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry.
parking- I mean,
So
housing
scratch
authority.
that one.
We have a parking authority and an economic development.
Right. So Parking Authority has 4 vacancies on the board. We have 3, well, Dakeem? I didn't, we have 2, right?
Two.
2 applicants, okay.
Ms. Williams and Ms. Evans. Are the
Ms.
two applicants
Williams
for the
and
parking.
Ms. Evans.
And it was stated, correct me if I'm wrong,
Ms. Williams?
Justin, we had a conversation about Sherette Golson,
Parking board?
saying that she would be interested in the parking authority as well. Through our emails.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman. What, can you say what you said?
Sherette Golson, she, I reached out to her to let her know that, the parking authority was open. I spoke with Justin through email and, asked her if she would consider that, and she did say yes. So she is a candidate for the parking authority as well.
Did she submit an application for the parking authority?
She was, it was said that she didn't have to,
Oh, okay.
fill out another one. She already filled out one for the zoning board, and said that she would sign up for the parking authority as well. So has something changed?
No, yeah, I did forget that happened, Councilwoman, but there's just one board appointment application. It's the same application for all boards. So since you had that conversation, she emailed back that she'd also be interested in the parking authority. I didn't write that onto the application I just printed out, but I'd imagine that should be valid as an application.
All right, so in order to avoid any confusion in the future, I like the Dakeem Williams approach, where you have an application for each of the boards that you're interested in serving on, so we can have
Some order?
some order. So I make a motion that we add to the application language that states that we need 1 application per board that you're
Bless you.
interested in serving on. Can I get a second?
I second.
All right. Any questions, comments, all those in favor of having a single application per board appointment, board that you want to be appointed to or applying for? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? There won't be any because we all said aye. Write that note. Individual app. Applications. The other reason we want to do that is if we do approve somebody for a board, and if they put it on one form that they want to apply for 3, it's a lot easier to toss the one that they were or were not
Approved for.
approved for and still have the other ones that we can bring forward.
I have a question for this committee as well as maybe the HR department, I'm not sure. Is the Chester Economic Development Authority via CETA, is that solely based on the control of the city of Chester, or does anybody from CETA have say-so on that board? Like, for example, Miss Lisa Gaffney or something like that? How was that done?
Does she have authority to make board appointments, is your question?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
that's us. Or that's city council.
And/or decisions? No. And/or decisions relating
Decisions?
to the people that we choose for the board?
I mean, they can make recommendations and talk to us as to why they would support a candidate or not, but it's up to us to approve or deny applicants. Position. All right. You want to start with Ms. Golson?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Golson has applied, and we can do one at a time. Zoning Board, so I'll hear you guys first. What would be your, I guess we should say pluses and minuses? Reasons to approve or reasons not to approve her for the board?
Well, I see no reason why not to approve her, but we are looking at a authority that doesn't have anyone on it. So.
We just don't want to fill
I know we
board
don't want to just
positions
fill them,
just because they're open.
but there is an interest, and she has served in the city and worked in the city as far as in the summer food programs, you know, so she has some interest. She's a city resident. And what else would be the qualifications for her being on a parking authority? What are the qualifications? Because that's not listed on,
I'm doing zoning right
I
now.
mean zoning, what are the qualifications? Because I know we're saying that some people aren't qualified for certain things, so can something be listed as to what the qualifications would be going forward? So that people won't just apply for zoning, for parking, and they don't have the experience?
I would say no. This isn't a job application.
But you're saying that they need to have some kind of experience.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, well, make
I'm
it clear.
saying that as a committee, if we're going to vote to approve anybody for any of these board positions, we, as a committee, should be able to justify what it is that would qualify them to be on the board. And then we'll make a vote to see if it moves forward. So
with
I
that-
think what I heard you say as a qualification is that she's from the city, that she was a city,
The city
summer food program
program.
person.
She was,
I mean, if those are your points,
no,
then
she
they're
was
valid.
a supervisor. And she maintained that position for several years.
Okay.
So to Councilwoman Gibson's point, I think some things that we should highlight for the pros of Ms. Golson is her being able to work in the city of Chester for over 26 years. I think her experience as a bus driver would help her know the ins and outs of our community, the streets, as well as her working with children in a daycare. It takes a very, I think, a keen eye to look after children, especially if they're not your own. That takes a certain type of level of compassion that I think that would tie well into the zoning and hearing board, because you have to be compassionate about the different businesses, homes, or properties that are applying for the different permits that the city of Chester offers. So I think that is some pros that Councilwoman Gibson mentioned that I support. I don't see why or what I could do to, I guess, conflict against why she isn't qualified for the zoning and hearing board. I think it's a learning process for somebody who was on it. No one goes into that board knowing everything about zoning, so I don't really see any cons in her bio here. I don't have a resume in front of me, but her bio that says otherwise, that she would qualify for the board. And being as though she is the one in application that we have here today for the board, other than Mr. Williams that we tabled, I personally feel as though we can move her forward.
Okay. Are we ready for a vote? All right, all those I make a motion to move is it Charette?
Charette.
Charette Golson forward as a candidate for board member on the zoning board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, any comments? All those in favor of moving Ms. Golson forward?
Aye.
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 Aye, we got 3 ayes, there's no nays. Ms. Golson will move forward to council as a candidate for approval on the zoning board. We'll use this same process for, the only one left is parking authority, correct? And we have 2 individuals who applied to be on the board for the parking authority. There are 4 existing vacancies. We need at least 2 to have a quorum, 2 new board members to have a quorum. And just as a reminder, the parking authority, we have a comment. Yes, sir.
I just, a question, and I don't know if this is something you guys can answer or something that Ken or Chief Leitner, being as though that the committee is taking votes on actions, as council people to move it forward to the city council, does that require a solicitor to be here? Being as though that can answer that, or that's something illegal, but that may be something we just want to clarify and look on.
Okay.
Just make sure we're doing everything in accordance to, the sunshine law and how, Robert's rules or whatever that, make sure we're in accordance with everything. So,
All right.
I know at our committee meetings when I was on the school board, the solicitor was present when we was taking votes. So I'm not sure if it's the same for the city, but that's just something that we may want to look at.
All right, thanks. You had a comment on that?
I believe I had a comment, maybe an answer. Because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to answer fully, but being as though we're a committee and we're not taking any full legislative action on who's being appointed to the board, that has to go through council. We don't need a technical solicitor because we're not deciding anything. We're technically only making recommendations. So this is like a fancy way of recommending people. We're not really making any decisions.
And so I think,
But that would be my, I guess, my take on it as a non-lawyer, because I think they do the same thing in the State House. If you have a committee and a quorum, and you're basically recommending something to be put in front of the State House, like you're not making a decision to be passed or anything like that.
so the
but-
language needs to change, then we shouldn't say we're voting on anything, we're just moving them forward for consideration.
No, it's still a vote to move them forward.
Well, then, if that's the case, then the language would need to change. 'Cause if it's
Yes.
a vote, then,
Well-
but I don't know. That's what I said. I'm not a lawyer, so.
And I'm not sure how other municipalities do it, or what,
Sure.
So this is probably something we need to discuss.
Like we preface this that we're still learning. How about Mr. Mack? Do you have any experience in this area?
I don't, but I kind of would agree with Councilman Davis. Kind of following.
All right, if you're gonna, if you're not gonna say yes or no, please come to the mic.
I would agree with Councilman Davis' point of view, because we have a committee. The committee is doing their job, and not necessarily making the decision, because the final decision will be voted on at a later date. So the committee is, in a sense, doing their job. However you word it, you recommend and you bring the people forward to be voted on at later. You're not making an action now. The committee's doing their job by making a recommendation.
But when we say we're voting on something, it does make it seem like we're voting on it, so the language, in my opinion, would need to be changed.
Change voting to recommend.
Recommend,
Recommend
yes.
To move forward.
Okay. We'll see our solicitor this afternoon. We can corner him on that one. We
So
have,
do we move forward with that one, saying that we voted on that, or do we just?
yes, let's just move forward with Ms. Golson. We good with that?
Yes.
Everybody's fine with that. All right, we'll use the word recommended for the next two if required. Who do you want to start with? Council Lady Williams, former Council Lady Elizabeth Williams has applied for the parking board. Let me hear you guys' pluses or minuses and try to convince us to vote or not vote on her behalf.
Who are we starting?
Recommend, rather.
We're starting with Councilwoman,
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah.
This was a court of law. I'd have to recuse myself because I know her. But I think that she has experience in government, which could be a help as far as being organized when it comes to parking in the city. She's experienced a parking authority here already. She was a city council member, so she knows what that would look like. I'm concerned about, I guess, her ties to City of Chester's government and her, I guess, her process of thinking and how she would, be, I guess, progressive and how we should be able to, I guess, go along with the new idea in the new format in which the city is going. If she would be able to show us as a council, as a body, that she would be willing to work with everyone and actually put aside old thoughts and, put Chester first, then I think she would be a great candidate because she has experience. But if not, and she's, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I'm saying stuck in her ways, then it could be a problem. And I don't want that to happen with anyone. That's a problem. with
I
any
think that's
situation.
like a bit personal. The
That's-
woman has supervised and did a great deal of service to the city of Chester, right? And as to her thinking, everyone has their own level of thinking that all of us should respect. Now, that we're talking about moving forward, to me, it's still going back to things of old, right? And we can't base anybody's previous dealings with what they're doing now. The fact that she said that she wants to come and she wants to serve is a plus with the experience that she has. And it would seem kind of biased to say, oh, she has this way of thinking. That's, to me, in my own opinion, basing someone on something that was previously done, whether she served on city council or not.
I agree.
So
So
that's just my
let me
2
let me
cents.
revamp that. With her knowledge and experience in city government and already having dealt with the parking authority, I think she's very qualified to be on the parking authority board. I mean, the parking board. However,
Oh, hold on. Where do you see she's had experience on the parking board? Was that on?
the city of Chester had a parking authority while she was a current city councilman.
Okay, but she wasn't on the board.
She wasn't on the
Okay.
board.
But had knowledge.
As a council person, she had knowledge of the authority itself.
Okay,
Is what I was.
gotcha. Just make that clear.
Gotcha.
Any other comments on former Council Lady Williams? I do agree with both of you that her experience in government counts. She's spent a lot of years sitting right up here. She's probably the most recognized face in the city when it comes to just showing up. This lady is always out and about. She loves her city. There's no doubt about it. The only issue I have with her on the parking authority is the fact that she approved the last parking management company, which the contract was really bad, and it has since been, the contract has been vacated, the company's no longer with us. I would question her judgment on dealing with a parking management company based on that decision. Any other comments? All right, we're ready for a recommendation. I like that. I like recommendation.
You like
I
recommendation?
do. I like that.
Okay.
I think that keeps us out of any hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So I make a motion to move, it's hard to not say council lady, Miss Elizabeth Williams forward as a board member on the Parking Authority Board. Do I have a second?
Second, oh.
There you go.
There's your second. Okay. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'm a no. All those opposed, I'm the no. So she passes. She will move on to City Council for their vote to be on the Parking Authority Board. The last one we have is Adelaide Evans, and we'll go through the same process. She's applying for Parking Authority and Chester Economic Development Authority, which there are no vacancies, so we're only focusing on Parking Authority. So let's hear from the committee here. What are your comments on Ms. Evans? Strengths, weaknesses?
Am I going for that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
One of the pros that I have about Ms. Evans is strictly put in her bio, I am a strategic thinker. I think that's extremely important when we're talking about a parking authority, how the parking will be set up, where it'll be placed in the city, how much we're gonna charge. If she's gonna have any insight or have any input on that type of conversation or communication, I think it would be beneficial, especially if she's going into it thinking strategically for the city of Chester. That's a pro. I'm gonna stop with my pro and then I'll come to my con later. Yeah, I have a con as well for everyone. So. Go ahead. Since I'm first with everybody, let me just put the pro out, let y'all respond, then I have a con, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I won't put any of my personal feelings towards any of the candidates that have applied, but based on her bio, she is a strategic problem solver and all of that. She has over 20 years of experience from different roles, and she has some degrees that can back her up with it. She said she was a part of the Chester Democratic Committee, and she received some awards. So she's active in our community, and so she's applied, and so I think that anybody that applies should be allowed to at least have a seat at the table, and so I don't have a con. I just have a recommendation that whoever applies can move forward.
Okay, and I'll just throw my comment in here, to your point, strategic. I wrote it down somewhere. Strategic. What was the term she used? All right, let me read this real quick again. Oh, it's right here. Oh, all is wrapped up. You know, she has a bachelor's and a master's degree. The master's degree is the one that really stands out to me, organizational and strategic leadership. You know, the skills acquired in that area would be valuable on any board. So and we do see the work that she does in the community. She's very active, very vocal, when she advocates for something, she's very strong. So the fact that she felt compelled to apply to the parking authority lets me know that that's an area that she sees is an area that she can affect through her leadership skills and her advocacy. So any final comments on Ms. Evans? Are we ready to recommend? So I make a motion to recommend Ms. Adelaide Evans as a candidate for board appointment to the Parking Authority, Chester Parking Authority. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor of Ms. Adelaide moving forward, vote by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's unanimous. There are no opportunity for no's. She will move forward to council as a candidate for Parking Authority board member. So to wrap up what occurred today, the one applicant that we had, Dakeem Williams, we're going to touch base with him to make sure he supplies us with a bio and/or resume so that we can consider him in our next meeting. Ms. Charette Golson will move forward as a candidate for the zoning board, and Ms. Elizabeth Williams and Adelaide Evans will move forward for consideration on the Parking Authority board. So that concludes the work we came here to do today. We have a comment.
Come up to the mic, please.
I guess we should allow for public comment. So this is public comment time.
I just wanted to ask, for the future, for these, are we in the same box as CETA where we can provide feedback to you guys and recommendations, like from HR, about the people that you pick? Because me and Janelle was listening, some of these names are familiar to us, like we interview some of these people and talk to some of these people. So we just wanted to know, are we allowed to give feedback and recommendations to you guys?
Yeah, so I apologize as we
fine.
figure this out, but
Yeah.
you should have the same opportunity before we get into our process.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To
like-
vote on agenda items only. We know what the agenda item is, mostly coming in, so yes.
Okay,
We'll-
that's all we
we'll-
want.
Wait a minute, but you're saying feedback. Feedback is one thing, but then
Like-
recommendations for what purposes?
Not really, like, it's just, hearing the names, I'm just familiar with these people, and we have talked to these people, interviewed these people for other positions here.
Mhm.
And I would, like, if we had something to, tell you about them, are we allowed to do?
Well, I would think that would be confidentiality,
Nothing personal.
but then why would it
Just
even
giving
matter?
you, what we've gotten back from interviewing them for something.
It shouldn't apply in my opinion, because that is, and it's just my opinion,
Yeah.
because this is for a board and that's for a career opportunity.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question, so I can, okay.
But
So if it's for board applications specifically, I think that you should be able to give feedback. This is streamed live and this is
Yeah,
public.
yeah.
For the public, if public came, it would help them have more context on why and how we're making the decisions that we're making up here. But I agree with Councilwoman Gibson, if it's about employment, I think that can get a little personal and
Okay.
that would be a little too much. But if it's not about employment and it's just about general conversation or about how you, I guess, interacted with these individuals that might give us more contact, I think it would be important for us to know.
Okay, yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so okay, 1 second. So I stand firm in that we will do an opportunity for comments on the agenda items before we go into a vote. So Madam Clerk, if you would just add that to the agenda in the future so that we don't forget to have comments before and after.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh, so they will get an opportunity.
Yes, we will have an opportunity for anybody to make comments
Right,
before
because I think you should.
and after. It's not part of the agenda. We're going to add that to the agendas. Yes. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, Councilwoman.
Look at her.
Uh-huh.
If I was in church, I'd say, if all hearts and minds are clear, but I'm not in church. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys. Good job. You got through it.
Good job, yeah.